There's a moment when you're about to say yes to something and your stomach tightens. The request sounds reasonable. The person asking seems genuine, but something inside you pulls back. A quiet, wordless knowing that says, "Don't do this." You can't explain why. There's no logical reason to refuse, but the feeling is there, clear and insistent. On the outside, you smile, you nod, you say you'll think about it. On the inside, you're caught between two voices. The rational one that says, "This makes sense, just say yes," and the quiet one that says, "Something's off. Wait." Most people dismiss the second voice. They tell themselves they're being paranoid, overthinking, irrational, so they say yes. And a week later, they're sitting in the exact situation their body warned them about, drained, resentful, wishing they'd listened to that first pull in their gut. That feeling wasn't anxiety, it wasn't fear, it was intuition, and it was right. But because it didn't come with bullet points or a PowerPoint presentation, it got ignored. Intuition doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in sensations, images, sudden knowing. And in a world that values proof over feeling, most people have learned to mistrust the very thing that's trying to guide them. This pattern of ignoring intuition shows up everywhere. In relationships, someone meets a new person who checks all the boxes. Attractive, successful, says all the right things. But something feels hollow, a subtle unease, a sense that the person isn't being fully honest. They ignore it. "I'm just being judgmental," they think. "I should give them a chance." 6 months later, the red flags they felt on day one are undeniable. The person was wearing a mask, and their intuition saw through it from the start. At work, someone is offered a job that looks perfect on paper. Better pay, better title, better office. But when they imagine themselves in that role, they feel heavy, tight, like putting on clothes that don't fit. They take the job anyway. Logic says it's the smart move. 3 months in, they're miserable. The culture is toxic, the work is soul-crushing, and they realize their body knew before their mind did. In family dynamics, someone gets a phone call from a relative and immediately feels dread before they even answer. They don't know what the call is about, but their nervous system is already bracing. They answer. The conversation is manipulative, boundary-crossing, draining, exactly what their intuition predicted. Alone in quiet moments, they replay these situations and think, "Why didn't I listen? I knew. I felt it, but I ignored it." They don't realize they've been trained to ignore it their whole life. Most of this training starts early. A girl grows up in a house where her gut feelings are dismissed. She says, "I don't like Uncle Steve. He makes me uncomfortable." Her parents say, "Don't be rude, he's family. You're just being dramatic." She learns that her instincts are wrong, that her discomfort doesn't matter, that she should override what she feels to keep the peace. As an adult, she ignores red flags in relationships, stays in situations that feel off, and wonders why she keeps getting hurt. She doesn't realize she was taught to silence her inner compass. A boy grows up in a culture that values logic, data, and rationality above all else. When he says, "I have a bad feeling about this," he's told, "Feelings aren't facts. What's your evidence?" He learns that intuition is irrational, unreliable, something to be corrected. As an adult, he only trusts what he can prove, measure, analyze. He makes decisions from his head, ignoring the quiet signals his body sends. He ends up in jobs he hates, relationships that drain him, situations he could have avoided if he trusted the first whisper of knowing. This connects to what psychologists call interoception, the ability to sense internal bodily signals, and what spiritual traditions call inner knowing. Intuition isn't magical. It's your nervous system reading patterns, detecting danger, and signaling safety or threat faster than your conscious mind can process. But when you've been taught to override those signals, to be polite, to be rational, to ignore your body, you lose access to one of your most valuable guides. The cost of ignoring intuition shows up in every area of life. At work, someone sits in meetings and feels a gnawing, sense that the project is headed in the wrong direction. but no one else is speaking up, so they stay quiet. Months later, the project fails and they think, I saw this coming. Why didn't I say something? They don't realize that fear of being wrong, of looking foolish, of trusting what couldn't be proven, kept them silent. In romantic relationships, someone feels a pull away from their partner. Not dramatic, just a quiet, persistent sense that something fundamental isn't aligned. But they've been together for years. Logically, it makes sense to stay. So they ignore the pull, they push it down, they tell themselves they're just going through a phase. Years later, they leave, and they realize they wasted time ignoring what they knew all along. In family dynamics, someone agrees to host a holiday gathering even though their entire body contracts at the thought. They can't explain why. It's just family. But the gathering is exhausting, boundary violating, emotionally draining, exactly what their intuition tried to protect them from. In friendships, someone feels a shift in a relationship. The friend is pulling away, being evasive, showing up differently. Their intuition says, something's wrong, ask. But their rational mind says, you're being paranoid, don't make it weird. So they don't ask. The friendship fades and they never get closure. Inside, the self-talk is harsh. Why am I so bad at this? Why can't I trust myself? Why do I always know something's off but ignore it? The answer is simple, because intuition was framed as unreliable, irrational, something to overcome rather than something to cultivate. But here's the shift. Intuition isn't a mystical gift some people have and others don't. It's a skill, a form of pattern recognition that runs on information your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet. Your body picks up micro-expressions, tonal shifts, environmental cues, historical patterns. It synthesizes all of that into a felt sense: safety, danger, rightness, wrongness. That's not irrational. That's intelligent. The problem isn't your intuition. It's that you've been taught to distrust it. And the work isn't about developing intuition from scratch. It's about clearing the interference, the self-doubt, the overthinking, the need for external validation, so you can hear what's already there. When someone says, I wish I had better intuition, what they usually mean is, I wish I trusted the intuition I already have. And that trust is built through practice, through listening, through honoring the small signals even when they don't make logical sense, through learning to tell the difference between fear and knowing, between anxiety and wisdom. Everyone has intuition, not everyone listens. And the people who do, they're not smarter, they're just quieter inside. They've learned to pause, feel, and trust the information their body's offering. So how do you actually strengthen and trust your intuition? Here are practical steps. Notice where you feel intuition in your body. Intuition isn't just a thought, it's a physical sensation. The first practice is to map where and how intuition shows up in your body. For some, it's a tightness in the stomach. For others, a pulling back in the chest, a heaviness in the throat, goosebumps, or a sudden feeling of expansion or contraction. Spend a week paying attention. When you're about to make a decision, pause and scan your body. What do you feel? Where? A woman does this and realizes that every time she's about to say yes to something that's not right for her, her throat tightens and her breath gets shallow. That's her body saying no before her mind catches up. Now when she feels that sensation, she pauses instead of pushing through. The difficulty here is that most people are disconnected from their bodies. To move through it, start small. Notice physical sensations throughout the day. My shoulders are tense. My stomach is relaxed. My chest feels open. You're building the language your intuition speaks. Distinguish between fear and intuition. Fear and intuition can feel similar, but they come from different places. Fear is often loud, spiraling, catastrophic. It says everything will go wrong. You'll be rejected. You'll fail. Intuition is quiet, grounded, specific. It says this person isn't safe. This job isn't aligned. Wait. The practice is to pause when you feel a pull and ask, is this fear of the unknown or knowing that this isn't right? A man is offered a job in a new city. He feels resistance. Is it fear of change or intuition that the job isn't a fit. He sits with it. Fear says, what if I can't make friends? What if I fail? Intuition says, this role doesn't match who I am. He realizes it's intuition. He declines the job. A better opportunity comes 2 weeks later. The difficulty is that fear is loud and intuition is quiet. To move through it, notice the tone. Fear shouts, intuition whispers. And it doesn't need to convince you, it just knows. Track your intuitive hits and misses. Intuition gets stronger when you validate it. The practice is to keep a simple log. When you have a gut feeling about something, write it down before the outcome is known. I feel like this meeting will go badly. I sense this person isn't being honest. I have a pull to reach out to this friend today. Then track what happens. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll see that your intuition was right more often than you thought. A woman tracks her intuition for a month. She realizes she had a gut feeling before every argument with her partner. She felt a tightness in her chest when certain topics came up, but she ignored it and pushed forward. Now she honors that tightness as a signal to pause, breathe, and approach differently. The difficulty is trusting yourself enough to track it. To move through it, remember, you're not trying to prove you're psychic. You're learning the language your body already speaks. Create space before deciding. Intuition needs stillness to be heard. The practice is simple. Before saying yes or no to anything significant, create a pause. Say, let me sit with this and get back to you. Then sit in stillness, no phone, no distractions, and feel into the decision. Notice what your body does. Does it expand or contract? Feel light or heavy? A man is asked to invest in a business opportunity. It sounds great, but instead of deciding on the spot, he says, I'll think about it. That night he sits quietly. His stomach churns. His chest feels tight. He realizes his body is saying no. He declines. Later, the business fails. His intuition saved him. The difficulty is the pressure to decide quickly. To move through it, practice saying, I need time. People who respect your boundaries will wait. People who pressure you are showing you exactly why your intuition said no. Honor small intuitive nudges. Intuition gets stronger when you act on it, even in small ways. The practice is to honor the small nudges. You think of a friend? Text them. You feel a pull to take a different route home. Take it. You get a sense not to eat something? Don't. You're building trust with your inner guidance. A woman feels a random urge to check her email at an odd time. She does. There's a time-sensitive message she needed to respond to that day. If she'd ignored the nudge, she'd have missed it. Small actions build the muscle. The difficulty is dismissing small nudges as meaningless. To move through it, treat them as experiments. Act on the small ones. See what happens. Over time, you'll trust the big ones. Clear the noise. Intuition is always there, but most people can't hear it over the noise. Constant stimulation, others' opinions, social media, anxiety, overthinking. The practice is to create regular stillness. 5 minutes a day of sitting in silence. No input, just presence. Your intuition will start to surface. A man starts sitting in silence every morning. At first, his mind races, but after a few weeks, he starts to notice quiet knowings bubbling up. I should call my mom. I need to end this project. That person isn't trustworthy. The more he clears the noise, the louder his intuition becomes. The difficulty is discomfort with stillness. To move through it, start with 2 minutes. Stillness isn't emptiness. It's where your inner voice lives. Stop seeking external validation. Every time you ask 10 people for advice instead of checking in with yourself, you weaken your intuitive muscle. The practice is to consult yourself first. Feel into the decision. Get quiet. Notice what arises. Then, if needed, seek input. But don't let others override what you already know. A woman is deciding whether to end a relationship. She asks everyone she knows. They all have opinions. She's more confused than ever. Finally, she sits alone and asks herself, what do I know? The answer is immediate. I need to leave. She realizes she's known for months. She just didn't want to trust it. The difficulty is fear of being wrong. To move through it, remember, other people's advice is based on their life, not yours. Your intuition is the only compass that knows your path. Over time, life doesn't become perfect, but it becomes aligned. You start making decisions that feel right in your body, not just on paper. You say no to things that drain you, even when you can't explain why. You say yes to opportunities that light you up, even when they don't make logical sense. Relationships shift. You stop forcing connections that feel off. You trust the instant knowing when someone is safe or not. You stop explaining yourself. People who match your frequency recognize you. People who don't fall away. At work, you make choices based on alignment, not just money or status. You leave situations that feel wrong before they become unbearable. You follow pulls that lead to opportunities you couldn't have planned. Internally, you feel more grounded. You stop second-guessing yourself constantly. You still think things through, but you check in with your body first. Logic and intuition work together, not against each other. You realize you've been carrying a compass this whole time. You just needed to learn how to read it. Return to that moment when your stomach tightens and something inside says, "Don't do this." Before you might have ignored it, pushed through, said yes anyway. Now you pause, you honor the signal. You trust that your body knows something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. You say, "Let me think about it." And in that pause, you give your intuition room to speak. Intuition isn't irrational. It's your wisest self, reading the room faster than thought. It's not about being psychic. It's about being present enough to hear what you already know. This is lifelong work. Some days you'll trust it. Some days you'll doubt it. That's okay. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to listen. And every time you honor a gut feeling, every time you pause before deciding, every time you choose what feels right over what looks right, you're building trust with yourself, with your inner knowing, with the quiet voice that's been guiding you all along. Thank you for being here and staying with us all the way through. If this resonated, consider subscribing for more videos on psychology, self-awareness, and personal growth. And I'd love to hear from you. When have you ignored your intuition and regretted it, or trusted it and been grateful? Share in the comments if you feel comfortable.